Hi, this is Bill Kenower of Author Magazine, and today I'm in the Writers' Cottage of the Pacific Northwest Writers Association with Kira Jane Buxton, author of Hollow Kingdom. Kira, welcome to Author.
Yay, thank you for having me.
All right, Kira, so book number 1.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
If you had talked to 8-year-old Kira, if you could sit her down and told her, we're going to have a book called Hollow Kingdom and you're going to have written it, would she have been surprised? Would she have been delighted?
Well, we'd have to get her to sit down first. I mean, a little bit of a precocious kid. I think delighted, especially given the animal aspect. You know, it's narrated by a crow, and I think 8-year-old me would
be
give
okay
that a huge thumbs up on that. Yeah, I think that was an inevitability in a weird way. Because
the animal aspect of it?
Yes, I'm a big animal lover. I've always been a huge animal lover. Yeah.
And so your 8-year-old would have loved the animals.
Yes.
How did she feel about writing? Was she into it at all, or was that not yet really on her horizon?
It was already there, I think, by 8. I wasn't. I hear a lot of writers talk about, you know, that they knew they always would be a writer, and I think that's incredible. I loved to tell stories and to write. My first story was about an overweight dragon, but I also loved to perform. I loved to act. So that, I think, took center stage, so to speak, for a long time. And I eventually went off to Hollywood for 10 years. I think I consider that hard time.
Yeah, for sure. You did it right after college, I assume?
I actually ended up not going to college.
Okay, so you were only as you knew material.
Pretty well. I think I was, you know, I think I went out for a lot of those roles of the sort of leading lady stuff, and I think I was completely... That was
quirky.
Wrong. Too quirky, too weird. Should have focused on character acting. Yeah.
How'd that go? Was it just rough? Did you feel like you were starting to make inroads? Like, what was that? I mean, obviously you're not there now.
Yeah.
So what was your final judgment on that experience?
It was an absolute disaster.
It was an absolute disaster.
Absolute disaster.
Bad.
I mean, it was pretty much a comedy of errors. Like, it was, you know, everything from... They used to have all the headshots used to be black and white.
Yep, I remember.
So you remember? And I used to get cast for things where they were looking for a California blonde who was really tan and beachy, and I would get cast in something where I'd have to show up in a bikini. Right. And I remember arriving on set and sort of psyching myself up and showing up, and I'd walk onto the set and there'd be gasps because I'm so pale. And
so this isn't your current. This is how you've always.
This doesn't change. There's nothing.
This is just your
this is it. This is like 2 weeks in Hawaii. This is
really?
Like I grew up in Dubai.
Did you get a vampire role or something?
It never happened. I feel like that should have been where I went.
For that.
Yeah. But what did happen was there was a lot of rejection, which I actually think of now as a great gift. Because I had to learn how to be resilient. I had to learn how to take those no's and be okay with it.
Yeah.
And not only that, I feel that a lot of people who become humorists or comedians, anyway in the comedy realm, I feel a lot of us are kind of forged in fire.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I think LA was my training. To do comedy, to find a way to cope and survive and look at things in a way that made them manageable and, with a little bit of time, be able to make a joke out of it.
I know that you published some short pieces, but for Hollow Kingdom, it sounds like you did some like in McSweeney in New York. And was it mostly humorous essays or fiction or?
A lot of it, yes. A lot of humorous essays. I made up my mind, I want to say it was like early 2016, I think it was New Year's Eve, and my husband and I clinked our glasses together, and he said, what would you most like to have happen this year if you could have one goal? And I had been such a long time fan of McSweeney's. I thought, if I could have one thing happen, it would be that. And then I thought, well, the only thing that's stopping me from that is me. I just have to try. And I did, and thankfully, actually, by some kind of miracle, the first piece I did got in. And that sort of changed, I gathered a lot of confidence from that and had that in my, I got to keep that in my pocket when I was writing and say like, well, maybe you are a little funny. Maybe you can do this. And
Yeah.
and then I just kept trying. And I think the years of rejection in LA made it much easier to handle a writing rejection.
But the novel, a very different animal. No pun intended.
Nice.
Yeah,
I liked
thank
it.
you.
I caught it and I liked it.
So talk to me about the moment you thought, I want to give that a try, because that's,
Yeah.
you could have just do the essay thing if you
Yes.
wanted.
I had been writing, I've been writing humorous mysteries.
Okay.
But I wrote it and then I queried it to crickets. Nobody was interested.
Right.
And I thought, okay, and I went away and I wrote another one. And this one was sort of more about some weird things that had happened to me in LA. And I submitted that and some agents were interested. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I think this is it. But then slowly, it's not quite right for us. And it's so heartbreaking, that process.
You put a lot of time in that thing.
Yeah, you do. So, but one agent she emailed me and said, well, actually, I think I really love your writing. I'm not sure about this. What if she gave me some ideas. I said, yes, oh my goodness, yes, I'll do whatever. And so I went away and I rewrote the thing. And we went back and forth for basically 2 years.
Wow.
She was very gracious, and I ended up working with a couple of different editors that I hired, great editors. But what I did, and I love to tell this story because I think it's helpful to other writers to know that this can happen. I over-edited it to the point where
you stripped everything out of it, right?
I couldn't even see it. I'd open up the document and it was just a nebulous snowstorm of nonsense. I couldn't read one sentence of it. So I went away and wrote the sequel, came back to it, still couldn't see it, and I fell apart. Really fell apart.
All right, so now we're in the hero's journey. You've gone
Yes.
had your death moment.
Yeah, that's it. The death moment, rock bottom.
Yeah.
Think I can't get out of this mess. I joke about it a lot. I say that, I was rolling around the floor and drinking wine out of a salad bowl, which is true. All these things are true. But it really was, it was tough. It was really tough. And I think also it all sort of compounded together, the rejection from LA.
Of course, you're still thinking about LA. You're like, I'm
Always.
Miss Rejection. Just nobody wants me.
Yeah. And I mean, at this point, it really was close to getting closer to 20 years of professional rejection, which is not great for the ego.
No.
So it was hard. And my husband, very long-suffering man, he said, why don't you go write the thing about the crows?
Because you've been talking to him about it,
I've
right?
been talking about, I'm always talking about crows. I'm always talking about birds and animals.
So he had heard something in your voice, it sounds like, talking
It
about
was
the crow.
pretty desperation, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, I said to him, nobody wants to hear about crows, and how do you write a book about crows? How does that even? Where do you? And then I was in my car, and it hit me. Oh my gosh! What if the crow is telling the story? What if the crow is the narrator, the protagonist? I thought, it's the crow's telling the story, but what if the crow is telling our story? What if the crow is talking about humanity? And what if the crow is talking about humanity's extinction?
Yeah.
And that got me. And I sped home. I'm a very responsible driver normally. But I sped home and I just sat down and I wrote that first chapter, and it really hasn't changed that much. That's right.
And so now you've had, all right, 20 years of rejection. Let me ask you this. Do you not think on some level you simply misunderstood success and rejection? Didn't you really accept yourself when you wrote Hollow Kingdom?
Yeah, that's so great. And I think I had a really unique perspective on success in that I had none when I experienced them. And I had no taste of it truly until Hollow Kingdom. So that's a long time of understanding rejection quite well and being very comfortable in that space. Well, eventually coming to a place, I should say I'm comfortable. It was more to be in an accepting place.
It wasn't.
I was using it.
Yeah.
I was using it. And I had learned to live with it, and I had learned to use it to my advantage, especially as a humor writer. I know that I've heard David Sedaris say that anything bad that happens to a humor writer is really gold coins, which is, I agree.
It's absolutely true, yeah. All right, Kira, I got one more question for you, and what I'd like you to do is finish this sentence.
Oh, wow.
If writing has taught you anything, it's taught you what?
How connected we all are. I think that's the magic of words and the magic of books. They have the power to change brain chemistry in the way that trees have the power to change brain chemistry. And I think that through reading and the intimacy of being in someone's mind and as we were just saying, interpreting a piece of art in the way that is personal to you, I think that connects us in a really beautiful and in a way that ripples out in a really profound sort of movement.